Joining my next guest, Mannino. This is right here, right now. What's good, man?
Hey, what's good, man? How you been?
I'm good, man. Thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me, man.
So, before we go any further, how's everything? How would you describe your 2021 thus far, considering everything that's been happening with this pandemic and all?
I mean, I feel like it's a new phase of life. I feel like 2020 was like that final like grand finale, like that climax of just like a whole bunch of things going down. And I feel like this 2020 or 2021 has kind of been a year of just like just I'm going through like a transformational period, where I'm maturing in certain ways. Things are, I feel like I'm at this next level of life. And I feel like a lot of my friends are kind of the same way. It's just kind of a period of transformation. It seems what it's been like so far.
Definitely true, man. And it feels like we all having to adapt to this pandemic. With the mask
Yeah, like,
wearing and the social distancing and 6 feet apart. It's just
yeah.
something different and very challenging, obviously, but it has to be done if we're gonna get through this pandemic, pretty much.
Yeah. Like I feel like that was like a level where like you had a bunch of bosses. If life's like a video game, you have a bunch of bosses in 2020 and 2021 is just like a new chapter. Like you're on to something different. And I feel like it was just so much change and adapting that I feel like I've come out like a different person. Just in the past year.
So you and I have actually been mutual friends for quite some
Mhm.
time. We
Yeah.
have some mutual friends in the local music scene. I am definitely
Sure.
familiar with your work. You are a DJ, a
Mhm.
producer, a sound designer, and a
Mhm.
photographer.
Yeah.
So you are,
Like I like to
um,
combine those for sure.
yeah, so you are like multi-talented, not just on the scene, but behind the scene.
Yeah,
So
like I feel like the way that I've kind of approached the art scene is like, yes, like I can learn a few things pretty well. But if I can learn like each step of that process and figure out which step of that process I can focus on the best, or like it doesn't hurt to know how to produce if you're also a DJ, or to know how to design your own sounds if you produce. You don't have to. But like also like in terms of like doing album art, like I just use my own photography for album art. It's simple. I don't have to pay a graphic designer. It's my art. I can pick a really good photograph, and I think that when you combine those things, it's like vertical integration, where you're like each step of that process you're trying to manage rather than outsourcing it to somebody else. Not that that's bad or wrong, but I think that that's kind of it's fed into my art. Like my music wouldn't be the same if I wasn't also designing all my own sounds and DJing with it, or using my own album art for photography and titling it based off of like the photography or something like that. I think that it's just more consistent, right?
absolutely, I got a chance to listen to some of your DJ mixes through
Mhm.
your SoundCloud. You do
Mhm.
like dub music. You do like techno, EDM, type of stuff. Which
Yeah, like I've definitely been all over the place for sure. Like I try to I think the more you can combine different kind of styles into your own thing, the better. Like the best, like most original artists, I feel like are able to have six different types of influences, and combine these different styles into something that's uniquely them. Because like that's all you're doing. Like art, you're just making materials, experiences, and experiences material. Like you're taking your experiences and you're putting that into material that somebody else experiences, and it's that simple. And so the more experiences you have, the more you draw from, the better it is. At least in my opinion. Um,
pretty much. So as we look back and reflect on 2020, like musically. The music
Mhm.
industry overall has definitely taken a hit as far as
Yeah.
live music. People can still put out songs on the platforms and things like that, so that's not going to go away. But
Yeah.
people are missing that live music experience, like in person performance. Just seeing the artists performing, DJs and doing what they do. Now you see it. People use like Facebook, Instagram, and stuff to
Mhm.
perform on it, and that's cool and that's safe as well. From your perspective, as someone that is surrounded by music, obviously, how do you feel about the music scene with this pandemic? And have you also had it? Have you been doing shows since the pandemic, since things started to open back up, or you
Yeah.
just holding back and wait and see?
Well, so there's two parts to that question you just
Yeah,
asked. The first one is like, how is the music scene from like my perspective? And I think that it's really been a double-edged sword. Obviously like festivals have been out, right? Like they have to plan, 6 months in advance, right? So like they've been out, right? At least most of the big ones. And then, but I think that also this is given a chance. Like sometimes you have a lot of DJs who they spend so much time touring that like they get big producing, and then by the time they've just been touring so much that like their production quality falls or it changes or they get a ghost producer or something like that. And I think that this has given time to a lot of producers who would have been out touring to kind of be by themselves and work on their production. And I feel like I've definitely done that. Like I've definitely over the past year, I've been, taking lessons, with like a Defier, which is a really great, music program. They get a bunch of famous producers that kind of mentor you in certain things and just finding, ways I can just make my music, both brand it more coherently, but also, improve its quality, develop it more, polish it more. 'Cause, I mean, I've been producing for 10 years and I feel like I'm not even halfway in terms of where I want to be in terms of the quality, you want to put out. Because like to really like get big off of the music you produce, you have to be producing something better than the DJs who are already famous for producing or already living off of that. Like they have to promote, they have to put you on, right? They have to put you on. They're going to put you on because your stuff is better than their stuff at that moment, or fits the crowd, or fits, in the set, and that's the way it's always worked. And so like the underground scene is always pushing like the newest trends, newest styles. And to do that, you have to push yourself, that much further. And I still feel like I have a lot of progress to go. But I've also taken to kind of managing other artists and DJs. Like I'm helping manage both FTD Collective, which was called Fight the Disease, and we're doing our third monthly show on the 22nd at Mad Frog in Cincinnati. So we did one of those each of the past few months. And again, we have like a 40-person cap and, masks are everywhere, we have to take all these precautions. But I think, the live experience has still been worth it in that sense. As long as we can do it safely and by all these guidelines, I think it's good. But we originally just started out streaming. And we would do kind of streaming performances, and like you would get, and that was cool too, because we could get like a DJ from Colorado, one from California, one from all these different states from remote locations to literally like stream together like a live event, right? And that was pretty cool too. And we would collab with like Batic Records, or we collabed with TBN Collective, which is based out of Denver right now. But and that's been cool. And then also in terms of production, I'm managing a bunch of local producers who are local to Lexington. As part of FOP Lexington. And this was something that John Becker started out of like Cincinnati and Columbus, called Fresh Local Producers. And this is kind of like a smaller chapter of that. So I'm kind of both managing a team of producers locally and kind of a regional team of kind of underground DJs. I'm trying to kind of just do things together. And that's all it is. Like, it's not about, oh, I'm better, I know how to manage this better than they do. Or it's not about that at all. It's more about like, if we just do this as a group and as a unit, it's going to have more weight than if we do it individually, right? So like if we all Like if I know a bunch of producers who've been producing for years in Lexington, and we all put out something together, and we make sure that there's a standard of quality, and it's packaged well, and this and that, it's going to have way more weight than if we put out the same quality track all individually, just because we're all local and we're all doing it together. And I think that that's just something, special that, I feel like it's tying the scene together right now. Like, I don't necessarily think that this is the death or the end of the scene, but this is like a new beginning where, like, we really had to, like, focus on our roots. Like, a lot of people had to, look introspectively, at themselves, who are in the music industry, and, either take this to switch styles or switch something up, or, try to take themselves to the next level, or just find a way to reconnect with the underground and just, have people doing things together, right? Because that's what it's about. It's about bringing people together to experience something. And so you kind of do that from the back end too, by, working with other artists, working with the community, and coming to appreciate people who produce music that might be a little bit different from you, but it's all coming from the same place, and it's creating the same, like, good experience for other people. So, just working with, other artists and producers has been a big part of that, and I think that if I wasn't doing that, if I was just focused on myself and on my own production and on my own DJing, it would feel a lot more desolate. It would feel a lot more just like this was the end of the music industry than it is. So I think that, yeah, as long as I'm staying in contact with these other artists that I've known, locally, even if they're just starting out, or if they've been producing a lot longer than I have, just staying in contact with them and trying to do stuff, even if it's, we're not collaborating, even if we're just like putting one track on, the same album, it's just our own tracks. Just by doing it together, it has more power and weight. And that's why, like, I get connected to people like you through Facebook, right?
Yeah.
And we have mutual friends, and that's, like, all a part of that whole process, It's like, rather than you just working on yourself and what you care about in music, you're reaching out to other people, and you're getting, you're getting Watcher, you're getting the underground hip-hop industry to talk about something, you're getting, underground DJs to talk about something. And I think that it has more weight than if you just focused on, like, yourself, or, trying to do the same thing, with yourself, right? On the platform you have. And so that's, that's what it's all about. Just bringing people together empowers your platform, empowers your voice, and I think, that's what it's all about.
So definitely, for what I've heard, I'm looking forward to hearing more from you this year, as far as new mixes, new shows you're working on. It was great to have you on the show. Appreciate you. Definitely, as I say all the time, support the local artists and bands, etc. Support the local DJs too. Support them as well. And thank you so much for being on the show. Continue success. Be safe. Keep doing what you're doing. And hopefully once this pandemic is over, we can actually see each other face to face without the mask.
Sure.
So thanks for your time, man. You take care. Be safe.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, man.
All right, man. You have a good night.
All right. You too. Peace.
Bye-bye.